Hello dear learners, I welcome you once again to this MOOC on population and society. In the last module, we have discussed about the theory of demographic transition, where we learned about the 5 stages through which the population of a country passes during its course of development. The theory of demographic transition only talked about the evolution of a nation, the composition of population, the nature of birth rate and death rate at different points of time. However, the objective of all nations is to achieve economic development so that the welfare of the people are maximized. Now, by welfare is meant a healthy life, a decent standard of living, better education, access to clean and hygienic living, and so on. As we all know, for achieving economic development and providing welfare to the people, a nation needs to optimize its available resources. Now, what do we mean by resources? By resources, we mean both natural and human resources. Now, the optimization of human resources is not possible if there is overpopulation. Besides, a nation with limited resources cannot provide welfare to its ever-growing population. In other words, there needs to be a standard population size which on one hand can provide optimum manpower for utilizing the natural resources, and on the other hand, the nation can provide its limited facilities to the people. It is here that we require an optimum population. So, dear learners, in this video, let us understand first what is optimum population and what are the main arguments of the optimum theory of population. So today in this video we shall be discussing the last module of this week, that is module 16 of this MOOC titled Optimum Theory of Population. Before delving into the theory, let us first learn what is the objective of this module. Now, after going through the video and after going through this module, you will be able to learn about the meaning of optimum population. You all will know who propounded the theory of optimum population. You all will know how to calculate the optimum population. And then also learn about the criticisms of this theory of optimum population and hence get a comparative understanding of this theory with that of Malthusian theory and other theories of population. You all will be able to compare whether this theory is better or the previous other theories of population are better or acceptable. Now, coming to the optimum theory of population, first we shall learn about the optimum population. Dear learners, before going deep into this theory, we shall first learn about the meaning of the word optimum. According to the Oxford Dictionary, the word optimum implies the most favorable level for growth, reproduction, or success, and its synonym, that is the synonym for optimum is what? The synonym for optimum is best. Now, let us turn to optimum population. What do you mean by optimum population? By optimum population is meant an ideal population which, combined with other available resources or means of production of the country, will yield the maximum returns or income per head. The optimum population is thus the most desirable population of a country, which is best suited. In other words, the optimum population is the best population size of the country. Actually, optimum population is basically an economic concept which implies a balanced relationship between population and the resources in an area or a country. Let us look into some of the popular definitions of optimum population. According to Balding, the population at which the standard of life is at maximum is called the optimum population. Professor Dalton defines optimum population as that which gives the maximum income per head. Peterson points out that optimum population is the number of people that in a given natural, cultural and social environment produces the maximum economic return. According to Kerr Saunders, the optimum population is that population which produces maximum social welfare. According to S.G. Moria, the optimum population is the population size, that is, the number of people which in relation to given economic, social or military goals produces the maximum return. Now, from time to time, the concept of optimum population has been discussed in the fields of sociology and economics in relation to optimum population. Social scientist defines optimum population as a density of population which, with the given resources and skills, produces the maximum, that is the greatest economic welfare. Usually, it is maximum income per head or maximum per capita income, or it allows the highest standard of living. That is, the optimum population, either it maximizes social welfare along with economic welfare, that is, guarantees maximum income per head and also allows for a highest standard of living. Now, dear learners, the concept of optimum population is concerned with the high quality of life. Now, what do we mean by quality of life? By quality of life is meant that citizens receive adequate amount of food, energy, water and air of high quality. Adequate raw materials so that they can work for themselves and the nation in order to procure and fulfill their needs. Dear learners, the concept of optimum population are used in relation with the terms overpopulation and underpopulation. As such, let us learn about the concepts of overpopulation and underpopulation. An excess of population in an area in relation to the available resources and technology denotes overpopulation. This concept was given by Professor Moria in 2011. Now, this situation of excess population occurs when the number of people exceeds that of the optimum population and the standard of living tends to decline. The results of overpopulation may be underemployment, unemployment, low per capita income, low standard of living and so on. That is negative in all the parameters of economic development. Now, when the carrying capacity of an area is exceeded by its population, the area is said to be overpopulated. Why? because the area has more population than what it can comfortably support. And this idea was given by Chandana in 2009. Now the term overpopulation means too great a population for a given region to support. Malthus for the first time identified the problem related to overpopulation. Later on, new Malthusian theories also viewed overpopulation as a major problem. Marxists argue that overpopulation is the result of the maldistribution of resources. Nowadays, some Western geographers view overpopulation as the cause of pollution and the increasing migration from the countryside in the Western countries of Europe and North America. Now, dear learners, overpopulation may be divided into two types. What are they? Absolute overpopulation and relative overpopulation. According to Clarke's concept in 1972, relative overpopulation is more common than the absolute overpopulation. Limitations of technology may cause the relative overpopulation. With increasing technology, the population resource ratio in relative overpopulated areas proceeds towards equilibrium or optimum population. Pospilo in 1986 observed that of two equally populated countries, one may be overpopulated if it has a higher standard of living with great demands for commodities and comfort, which the other may be, while the other may be overpopulated, if its inhabitants have a lower standard of living. So, we reach a flexible definition of the idea of overpopulation, in which the number of people is not alone to be considered, for their quality must also be taken into account. That is, only quantity doesn't matter. We have lots of people in our country. That doesn't matter. How much quality do these manpower people have? That matters. Now, let us go to the concept of underpopulation. The concept of underpopulation is just the opposite of overpopulation. Underpopulation occurs when the population of an area is too small for full utilization of its resources. The condition of underpopulation may also appear when the resources of an area are able to support a larger than existing population without lowering the standard of living or without creating any type of unemployment. Underpopulation is also characterized by a situation where the available resources are capable of supporting a much larger population with no reduction in living standards. So, we have learned about underpopulation, we have learned about overpopulation, we have learned about optimum population. We shall now delve into the theory of optimum population in detail. The optimum theory of population was first propounded by Edwin Kennan, a British economist, in his book Wealth, published in 1924. In later years, this theory was further popularized by Robin Stelter and Carl Saunders of London School of Economics. This theory focuses on the relationship between the size of population and production of wealth. Social scientist considers the optimum theory of population as a development over the Malthusian theory. Why? Because the Malthusian theory establishes a relationship between population growth and food supply, and is thus termed by social scientists as a general theory which studies the population problem of a country in keeping with its economic conditions. But the social scientists believe that the optimum theory is a more realistic theory. As mentioned earlier, the optimum population is the ideal population. A country has a variety of natural resources. It has a particular level of capital stock and follows a technique of production which is most suitable for it. That is, the nation either adopts a labor-intensive technique or a capital-intensive technique, or rather, they may adopt a blend of the two. The country again may concentrate on agricultural production or industrial production or both. Given these things, that is, the stock of natural resources, the techniques of production and the stock of capital in a country, the nation will utilize its manpower to produce agricultural as well as industrial goods. The production of these goods with the available resources and stock of capital will bring in a rise in per capita income. But there is a definite population size which corresponds to the highest per capita income, and this population is known as what? Optimum population. If with increase in population of the country, the per capita income keeps on increasing, it implies that increase in population is good for economic health of the country. That is, it is advisable and beneficial for the country to increase the population. That is, the country can adopt policies which will encourage people to give birth to children and therefore increase the population size. On the other hand, if with the increase in population the per capita income decreases, then the country is said to be what? Overpopulated. And the nation will require bringing down its population. In other words, if the per capita income falls with the rise in population, then the nation will have to adopt population control measures or policies. Dear learners, let us now take the help of a diagram to better understand the theory of optimum population. Dear learners, please observe the figure. In the x-axis, we measure the population size, and in the y-axis, we measure the average income or income per capita of the country. You will notice the curve PC curve, which is the curve that shows the income per capita of the country. As you can see, the income per capita gradually increases, reaches a maximum point, and then it starts declining. The rise and fall in income per capita corresponds to various sizes of population. Now please observe the x-axis or the vertical axis. In the beginning, when the production is OB, the nation is underpopulated. The average income or income per capita for OB population is BA. This BA level of income per capita is less than the maximum income per capita level NM. You will see that as population increases from OB to ON, the income per capita curve also moves upward. At ON level of population, the income per capita is MN. This MN level of income per capita is the maximum. As population further increases from ON to ND, the income per capita level falls. This fall is attributed to the law of diminishing returns by the advocates of the theory. This ND amount of population represents what? Overpopulation. According to Dalton, it is overpopulation and underpopulation which results in the shift from the best level of per capita income. Dalton calls this deviation maladjustment and has devised a formula for calculating this maladjustment. Let us now look into the formula of maladjustment. What is the formula? It is M equal to A minus O within bracket and whole thing divided by O. Dear learners, in this formula, M stands for what? Maladjustment, and A stands for actual level of population and O stands for optimum level of population. After calculating, if the value is positive, that is, if maladjustment is positive, then the nation is overpopulated. And on the opposite, if the value of M is negative, then the nation is what? Underpopulated. Only when the value is 0, it is then that it can be said that the nation is having the optimum size of population. Dear learners, let us now discuss the optimum theory of population in comparison to Malthusian theory of population. The Malthusian theory gave a generalized notion of population which is applicable to all countries, irrespective of their economic conditions. But the optimum theory concentrates on the economic condition of a particular country and studies the population problem in comparison to the financial condition of a particular country. In this sense, it can be said that Malthus had a narrow vision as he related population growth to only food supply. Cannon, on the contrary, had a much wider outlook. He related the population problem of a country to the total production of the country, both industrial and agricultural. However, it may be pointed out here that it is not always easy to work out the optimum size of population. Therefore, this theory may remain only of economic interest, and hence this theory cannot be applied in practical world, and hence the theory is criticized by many social scientists. Dear learners, let us now discuss few of the criticisms labeled against the optimum theory of population. Now, different social scientists actually wonders if there is any such thing as optimum population. Why? Because till date, nowhere in the world there is any proof of a country having an optimum population, or rather there is no substantiation of a country having an optimum population. Further, the theory ignores the basic question of the determinants of population growth. As we all know, the number of people in a country as well as the demographic conditions of the country is determined by various factors. These factors may be political, social, economic, and geographic. The optimum theory totally ignores this point that there are many factors which affects the demographic conditions of the demographic composition of the country. Besides these factors, there are biological factors which also determines the size and composition of the population. But the optimum theory of population only stressed on the relationship between per capita income and size of population and totally ignored other factors. Moreover, the increase in per capita income is not only determined by the size of population. Rather, the quality as well as quantity both matters for bringing in an increase in per capita income. The quantitative aspect implies the size of population, But only size of population will not bring in the best level of per capita income. The population should also have intelligence to work for the nation and bring in an increase in per capita income. Professor Hicks pointed out that the concept of optimum population is a notion of extremely little practical interest. Professor Beveridge considers the optimum population theory as a speculative construction of little importance for actual situation and not entitled to a place in the corpus of theoretical economics. Dear learners, till date, no country has been able to define its unique optimum population size. In that case, the concept of optimum population is only a vague idea. An accurate size of population having accurate level of intelligence is not practically possible to be decided. As such, the optimum theory of population is considered a vague idea. Nevertheless, the optimum theory of population paved the way for further research on the topics of determinants of population size as well as determinants of per capita income. As such, the theory cannot totally be discarded. So, with this, we have come to the conclusion of today's discussion. We have learned about the concept of optimum population and its theoretical explanations. We have also learned about the limitations of this theory and why and on what grounds this theory has been criticized. We hope that you have understood what has been discussed in this video. We shall be discussing the specification of Indian population, its composition trends and issues of growth and change of Indian population and so on in the coming week. So we hope to see you again in the next video. Thank you.